Now you need not worry about the syntaxes while we are talking about SQL queries. The reason is different implementations have different syntaxes. Only thing is you should understand that there is this functionality available and don't worry about the syntax much. Anyway, in the exam what they are going to ask you is they will give you a query and then they will ask you what is it returning on the tables, or they will ask you some query and you are supposed to find out one among the choices A, B, C, D. Therefore you need not really by heart how to write the syntaxes, right? Anyway, if you are going to do it in a company, you are going to Google it out, or in the exam also they are going to give you the options. So don't focus much on the exact syntaxes. They actually depend on implementation. Okay, now let's look at this. Alter is the keyword. Now it is used to add, delete or modify columns in an existing table, right? So what we can do with the alter is we can either add, delete or modify columns, or see this, also use it to add and drop various constraints on the existing table. So let us say you have created a table and accidentally you forgot to add a attribute, right? Later you can add an attribute for that. Also, let us say you have created a table and you have forgot to mention a constraint on some attribute. Later you can put it, or later you can change the constraints as well, right? And you can do this even after creating some tuples as well, which means even after inserting some values into the table also you can do the modifications, but only see that your modifications are consistent with the existing table, right? Now if you observe this, create table employee, we are creating a table with employee ID as the data type number and employee name as a data type character, and it is going to be unique, and then salary as a data type number which is having a check. The check is that salary has to be at least 5,000, and phone number as a variable character which is having length 13, and pin code is a variable character which is having length 6, maximum length. Okay, now assume that this is the table which is created. On this, if you want to perform the alterations, you can do it. Now let's see the cases where we are going to add some constraints to the existing attributes. Now here if you observe it, alter table employee, add primary key constraint to employee ID, right? Therefore by using this particular statement we can make employee ID as primary key. If you have forgot it initially, then you can add it later, right? And the next one is alter table emp, drop unique employee name, which means if you have employee name here, emp name here, you have already given it a constraint that it has to be unique. Now you can drop it, right? Drop unique means now it need not be unique, right? Two employees can have same name. Now alter table employee, modify check salary is greater than or equal to 10,000. Earlier you have given that salary has to be at least 5,000. Now you have modified in such a way that salary has to be at least 10,000. So these three are the examples in which you have actually modified the constraints, added the constraint or dropped the constraint or modified the constraint. Now you can do the same with the attributes as well. Now look at this. If you want to add or delete, you can do it. See this, alter table employee, add address variable char 2 of 30. So what does it mean? You are going to add a new attribute to the table employee. Earlier in the employee table address was not there. Now we are going to add address to the employee table, and it has to be 30 characters maximum, right? And what about the next one? Alter table employee, modify phone number varchar 20. So we are trying to, earlier phone was there, but now we are trying to modify its data type. If you observe it, right, the data type is now varchar of 20. Earlier it was 13. So we have increased the size of the phone number, right? And next one is alter table employee, drop column pin code. Now by doing this we are actually dropping one entire column, right? So by using alter we can either modify the constraints or we can modify the attributes. Got it? Okay.